It finishes then, Chelsea 2, Liverpool 0. It's a big takeaway from this. What conclusions do we make from this game?
That Chelsea needed it. I would say, maybe I shouldn't say want, because Liverpool wanted to win, but I think Chelsea needed it more.
Yep.
You know, they've got this. Lampard was asked before the game. Clearly, this is their one big chance of a trophy. The other one would be the top 4 or 5 for Champions League. So I think they needed it more. I think that was reflected in his team selection. A little bit or a lot stronger than Liverpool. And for Liverpool now, it's quite simple. All roads lead to Anfield for the Atlético game in, 10 days or so's time. No Carabao Cup, as we know. They went out and City won that. They're now out of this. They're going to win the league. They can focus and getting it right for that big night at Anfield and making an assault on the Champions League. Is this a big deal?
No, I think what you can say is Liverpool and Klopp hoped to win this game, and that's reflected in the team they put out. You know, a mixture of first-team players, kids, and guys that come off the bench usually. That hasn't got, I want to win this tournament written all over it. This has got, I'm hoping that with the quality we have, we've got enough to beat a Chelsea side.
I think that's the thing. Let's remember, Chelsea are a team in the top 4, and given the league table, it would suggest that Liverpool are head and shoulders above them, and they created enough opportunities, but they just didn't have the usual front three and the usual clinical finishers that Jürgen Klopp can rely on, and that ultimately came back to haunt them.
We were sitting, I think it was you I said to after 55 minutes, this looks like one of those where you could play all night and never score.
Right.
And quite frankly, in the whole of the second half, they didn't look like scoring.
But overall, is it concerned, coupled with the fact this is their 3rd defeat in 4 matches?
No, I think the big game is Saturday.
Bournemouth?
Yes.
Why?
Because to get the win, to get back to some sort of... I mean, Liverpool at the best are very dynamic, and that's just the one thing they haven't been recently. And I think this game doesn't particularly matter that much to Klopp. I think this game in Bournemouth, they have to show exactly what they've shown us pretty much for the last 12 months, being dynamic and blitzing teams. Because if they stutter against Bournemouth, you've got to be worried about the Atlético game.
But then what does he do, Stevie? I mean, what does he do? Does he play...
I think he plays his first team.
No. The 11 that he thinks will play in the Champions League and starts to take a few off if they're lucky enough to be 2, 3 or 4 up? Or does he maybe give Van Dijk a... Because it's a bit of a surprise Van Dijk played tonight. Yeah. I mean, Matip could have played alongside Gomez. So is he going to give him a rest at some point?
I don't think so. I think he sees Van Dijk and Robertson, those two in particular, as he can work them. They can take it. They're the workhorses. Every time he puts a team out, you know those two are going to play. And I think they can handle it. So I think against Bournemouth, 100%, he puts out his first team, the best team, if everybody's fit.
Why would you not put the first team out today?
Well, because the FA Cup, as I said, is 3rd in line.
To what?
To the league.
But it doesn't matter, they could lose against Bournemouth.
But Nancy, you're saying that.
Stephen,
listen, you cannot. Liverpool cannot. See, you talk about complacency. You're always asking us about when you win somewhere, do you get complacent and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's exactly what you've just done. You got complacent.
Stevie, you're 22 points ahead.
It doesn't matter,
Of course it matters.
It doesn't.
Why?
Right, hold on. Let's make this really simple. Do you think he's going to play his first team on Saturday?
I wouldn't.
Well, that's why you sat there.
Why would you?
100%.
Why would you do it?
Well, because you've lost.
Why would you do it?
Because you've lost.
Because you didn't play your first team.
You want to answer the question yourself?
Come on, keep going. I'm quite enjoying this.
You've lost to Atlético Madrid with your first team. You've lost to Watford with your first team. So you need to get your first team out against Bournemouth and make sure you win going into the Atlético game. And by the way, the complacency. You need to just make sure that you get the Premier League done and dusted as quickly as possible, and do not take anything for granted. It's the biggest thing that upsets teams when they all take things for granted. When you step on a football field, when you take things for granted, things go wrong.
But
I don't care if you're 20 points ahead.
Is it not riskier to play those players?
No, absolutely not.
4 days before the game?
Not considering the run that the actual first team has been on. I think it's important that they get back to close to what they are.
Right, look
before
at
this Atlético game.
Look at it this way. Look at it this way. if you're a pessimist, and I'm not, as you well know, I thought I'd just drop that in there. I thought I'd get that out, you know, early. If you're the pessimist, you're thinking about injuries. But if you're the optimist in Klopp and Liverpool, you're thinking about momentum again. Getting that momentum going again.
Could you not have done that today?
No,
He's just explained to you why. I mean,
here's the thing for me. Listen, as a neutral, I understand, especially given the lead that Liverpool have in the league, that you feel that this season maybe promised a little bit more. Okay, going undefeated is no longer an option, so now you need more silverware to add to that. But if you're a Liverpool fan, and it's 30 years since you win a title, that lead that you have at the top of the league means nothing until you see it over the line.
He's doing it again. Look at it. What's the complacency? Look at him.
Until you see it over the line, if you're a Liverpool player or fan, that's the only thing that matters.
Frank Leboeuf is with us. Frank, are you going to shout?
He's not having it. Look at his face.
No, I'm gonna try to just get a little bit of my time, you know, to explain what I think, and I won't agree with Stevie. I think there is for all fans in England a real importance for the FA Cup, and also you have to respect, on top of the competition, the team you're going to play against. And I think a game like that against Chelsea should have been played with the full strength team, and I think for me Klopp made a mistake. And again. I would have rested the main team like against Bournemouth for just like 4 or 5 days before the most important game maybe of the season for Liverpool. It's, for me, you have to respect the competition, but also you have to give big games to the first team and the full strength team. And you had this opportunity tonight, and he didn't take it. So I'm disappointed because I respect a lot, and I think he's one of, or maybe the best manager in the world right now. But I think he made a mistake for me, and should have put the real team, let's say, and try to put back his team on track with this game, and not the game against Bournemouth.
It's not important enough. It's important to Frank and me and Shaka and Craig. It's important we played in it when it was kind of a holy grail. That's why I think Frank's saying it's a big game and it's important. But clearly it is not. If he thought it was important to Liverpool, and he thought it was important to their fans, and he thought it was important for the group as a whole, then he would have played his first team and got a victory. Right. But he clearly doesn't.
Here's another way to look at it. You can answer this, I think, here, is we've all played in the FA Cup final. I bet you back in Liverpool's heyday, the players, and I might be wrong, I don't know, the players looked forward, and this might sound silly, but looked forward to the FA Cup final as much as the European Cup final.
Yeah, it was on the same. It was on the same level.
No, it's nowhere near. It's not even close now.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, because it was held in such high esteem. Why are you laughing?
I've just still got. I want to just say, but they've already won the Premier League.
But
it's fine. It's fine. You don't.
But that's the bit you don't get. That's.
But I know.
I will repeat what I said.
They haven't got over the line.
I'll repeat what I said. Complacency is the worst thing that any footballer and coach can have. That's why we throw out all these. Well, that's why we play the games. Because if the game's on paper, then what's the point? That's why we play the game.
Frank's talking about Liverpool playing their strongest team today. Chelsea didn't play their strongest team. According to Frank Lampard, Kepa's not the #1 at the moment, and Billy Gilmour's certainly not. He's a talented young boy, but he's not in the team before Jorginho.
But it was pretty much full strength, with that exception.
Well, I mean,
with Gilmour, with the exception of Gilmour,
you put an 18-year-old kid in the middle of the park, in the engine room. Right. So that's not exactly the full team, is it?
No, I don't agree with that. I mean.
Well, it's not, Frank. Billy Gilmour is not in the starting 11.
Some players.
Pedro doesn't start if everybody's fit.
Needs a rest.
What's so do Liverpool players?
Yeah, but it's half of the Liverpool's team. It's not only one or two players. It's half of the and the most important player, the goalkeeper, Salah, Firmino, who else that I forgot? Maybe
Alexander
Anderson was injured, and some other players. But Trent, what's his name?
Alexander Arnold,
the right back. Alexander Arnold, thank you. So they are main players. It's not only one player in the midfield like Chelsea did, or the goalkeeper, where I think you're more kidding than anything, because everybody thinks that Kepa is the number one. But that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
So there is no comparison whatsoever with the two teams today, and the importance that each coach made about that competition.
I think what we have to accept is Jürgen Klopp has decided that the FA Cup is the competition, and the Carabao Cup before is a competition where he's going to give people a rest. Whether we agree with it or not is neither here nor there. That's what he's decided. That's the way he's decided to map out the season. And who are we to disagree with a guy who's had a team on the run that they've been on? They're the current European champions. They're going to win the league an absolute canter. And that's the way he's decided to map it out. I mean, I'm sure the FA and people that love the competition are not happy with it. But unfortunately, that's the way the competition has gone in the last few years. Has Kepa won his spot back?
I think so. I think he's done more than enough to say that he should be Chelsea's number one. Listen, many of the saves he made today are saves you'd expect him to make, but I think he did more than enough and above the call of duty on the day to suggest that he's the better goalkeeper between him and Willy Caballero.
Well, I don't think that took today, Shaka, did it?
Well, I'm just saying.
Do you know what I mean? I think it's deeper than that.
No, all being equal, this is not even a debate we should be having, whether who's the number one between the two. But quite clearly, given the errors that he's made, how Frank Lampard sees him, he needed to have a big performance. And I think he did.
Unless he threw one in the net like we saw in the bloopers the other day, in one of the shows we were on, then he's, you know... I think it was an ideal opportunity, as you said, for him to get him back in the team, to keep a clean sheet, to be able to say, right, OK, I've made my point, now let's get back to winning games in the Premier League and fend off these guys that are charging down to try and get the European spots. It's as simple as that.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.